Hi, it's Amber again with today's Take a Breather Tech Minute. Today we're going to talk about using Nimbus to take screenshots. It's a great Chrome extension that does great work at capturing screenshots that you can annotate for use in a variety of ways. So the first thing I'm going to suggest that you do is go to the Chrome Web Store, which is chrome.google.com/web store. Make sure you're in the extensions section and you're going to look up Nimbus. And what you're looking for is the extension called Nimbus Screenshot and Screen Video Recorder. You'll notice I already have it added, so that's why I have the little green banner, but you'll see something that says Add to Chrome, and once you install it, you'll see this little teal colored N with a little dotted line around it, and that's how you'll know it's been installed. So there are different ways to use Nimbus. You can use it for screen video recording, but we're just going to talk about screenshots today. So I'm going to imagine that I needed to create a tutorial of sorts for students on how to use Edpuzzle. So I have Edpuzzle up and I want to take a screenshot of this and annotate it. Now many of you use the Control, Shift, and Overview buttons to take screenshots on your Chromebook, but some of you aren't quite sure how to annotate. You can use Google Drawings to do that with, and that's totally fine, but I'm going to show you how you can use Nimbus to do that for you. So when I click on Nimbus, I'm going to get a little drop down that asks me what type of capture I'd like to take. So you've got options for the visible part of the page, if you just want a fragment, if you want a fragment that has a scrollable piece of your page, or if you just want to select the area or select the area with a scroll or get the whole page. So I'm going to use the selected area, but I do want to point out this. Delayed screen. Oftentimes you want to do a right click and you can't take your screenshot while you're doing a right click. So a delayed screenshot would allow you to start a timer, get your right click open, and then take a screenshot and capture that right click option. It's great for contextual menus. So I'm going to actually do the selected area because I want to be able to get a cursor and select an area of my screen. So I'm going to drag across, and you'll notice how I'm kind of getting this little crosshair, and when I'm finished, I'm going to release it. Now, after you release, you're always going to get several options. You're going to get the option to edit. You're going to get the option to just save it as is in case you don't want to put any annotations on it. And you also have the option to cancel. But over on the right, you'll see there's 3 dots where you can immediately send it somewhere. That's if you don't want to make any annotations. You could go ahead and do that. But for now, I'm going to show you how you can edit and add some things to your screenshot. So I'm going to click Edit, and it's going to open in the Nimbus editor window. And I want to point you to the top of the screen so you can see some of the menu items. I can zoom in and zoom out. I also have the ability to resize my image or crop it if I got an extra piece that I wanted to crop out. Here's where you're going to get some pen options. So this is going to be if I want to draw on it, or if I want to highlight something, I can choose a marker. So I've got my marker here, and maybe I just want to highlight a couple things on the screen for my screenshot. You also have the ability to do shapes. So if there was something that I wanted to circle, for example, I want to circle this play button. So I'm going to click and drag across, and then I can move it if I didn't get it right in the right place, and I can do some resizing as well. So that's going to put that little circle around it. So that's what your shape tools are for. You also have arrow tools, and you'll notice you have a variety, whether it's a line, an arrow with a curve, because sometimes that's needed, if you need a double-sided arrow, or just a line or a line curve or a dotted line. So I'm just going to do an arrow, and I want to make sure they know where they can adjust the volume, so I can draw an arrow to that. And you'll also notice that after I've drawn my line, I have the ability to change the color if I need to make it more visible as well. I can also make that line width thicker, so if I really want a really thick arrow, I can do that as well. So this is kind of how you can change whatever it is that you're drawing. So now I'm going to show you how to use the text arrow or note text button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that I'm going to be telling them how to search for content. Now notice as soon as I clicked that arrow and released it, I also got a box for text. So this is a great way to enter some text. So search for content here. And I can resize that as needed. There's also some font choices and color choices, so I can do that as well. And if I didn't get the arrow in quite the right place, I can also adjust as needed or adjust my boxes. So you've got the ability to change things as well. There also is the ability to just add text if you don't want to have an arrowed box. And there's also the ability to blur, which I really like because occasionally you're taking screenshots and it has a student's name and you want to blur something. So you have the ability to blur an area. So I'm going to click blur so that you can see how this works. And let's imagine that this is a student name here. So I can draw a box over it and blur it out as often as I need to. That's blur an area. And if I use the second one, it blurs the entire screen and I can unblur a section. So if I want to unblur this. So several different ways to use it. The first one blurs a specific area. The last one, even though it says blur area, it blurs the whole thing and you can choose what you want to unblur. This is also helpful for student faces if you need to blur out a student's face. The next tool that I want to show you is over to the far right, and that's the numbering tool, because oftentimes you have to give students directions and say do this first, second, third, fourth. So if you click the circle button, you can actually click, and when you click your button, it's going to continually number. Notice how the numbers are going forward, so you can actually show them what to do first, second, third, and fourth. So you have that numeration tool as well. So when you've finished making all of your annotations, you can click the Done button, and it's going to give you some options. First of all, it's going to show you your new image that you've created from your screenshot. Now you can choose to open up a Nimbus Note account, but since we're all Google Apps for Education, the easiest thing is to send it straight to Google Drive. That way you can share it in Google Classroom, you can insert it into a Google Doc, you can bring it up on the screen in a Google Slide for a video you're creating. There's all sorts of different things you can do. But I just wanted to show you that using the Nimbus Screenshot and Screen Video Recorder tool to take screenshots is a great way to make some easy annotations on an image. So while you're making all of those awesome Learn from Home materials, this is just another tool you can add to your tool belt. Take some time today to take a breather and have an awesome day.